Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this video. I'm your host, Alex, and I'm continuing on the Flip Friday as I promised. This week, I will be talking about the pros and cons of getting into a flip property or any kind of investment property with friends or a different group. This is the thing I did for my first flip. You might consider it if you don't have as much funds as needed. And I will go through how that kind of works out, and you can, just look at your own situation and see if it applies to you. All right, so I'm gonna go down the list of pros and cons, and what you can do is kind of look at my experience and see for yourself. Kind of have an idea of what it's like to get in a group and have sort of like a team to do your first flip or really any other kind of investment properties. Pros: when you're in a team and you put money together, obviously it's less money for each person that's putting in. Therefore, it's less risk. That's a big pro. That's why a lot of people start that way, because they don't want to spend all their own money right away, and especially in one basket. So and especially if they've never done it before, they want to get the experience first. So what they do is a few people gather, they pull in the money together, and they do a flip. Another pro is that you learn from others. Okay, there's usually a guy in the group that knows more, that's done it before, or more enthusiastic, or does a lot of research and things like that, or went to school for this, like engineering school, has an engineering degree, or any kind of experience in the past that could be useful. Divide responsibilities. This way you can divide responsibilities between the team members. So let's say everybody has their career going on, their jobs. So what happens is people are busy, and they have different schedules. So you can collaborate and divide responsibilities and sort of assign things to different people at different times. And that could be a big advantage to you and to everybody in the group. Building a team for the future. You'll realize if you're good partners, you'll realize that if you can work together well, mash up well, you realize that right away without spending too much money. So it's like four of you, you're putting $25,000 each to make $100,000. It's good to play with $25,000 in order to learn and in order to build your team and see if you mash well together, rather than spending a lot of money putting in $100,000 each and finding out that you don't get along and you're not the best fit. Those are some of the pros that I thought was very helpful to me. Now let's go through the cons. As you can imagine, with the cons, in like everything you do, there is a few setbacks, okay? Especially your first project, you'll learn that there are setbacks. I'm not even talking about the setbacks that comes naturally with the project, delays and market fluctuating, none of that. I'm talking about just the teamwork. What are the cons? Okay, you might realize that you don't get along. When it comes to your friends, there's a few ways to find out if you get along with them. And that's when money gets involved, or you go on vacation, you spend a lot of time with someone, you realize not everything is hunky-dory between you two. Especially when it comes to money and doing business, some people just don't get along. So you might not get along, but it's good to know that from the beginning. Let's call that con number 2 is less profit, your profit sharing. So let's say, and for the person who's the head, or they have money that he can put in, and everybody else sort of, have smaller amount of money, so they have to be in a group. versus the guy that doesn't have to be in a group, they might be a little sour, but you don't want that guy in your team anyways. The people who get sour, this is a learning experience. Your first flip, if you're getting in a team, it's a learning experience. Look at it as that. Don't look at the profit. As long as you're breaking even, okay, and going forward, because there could be some mistakes. You don't want to lose money, that's for sure. I've never lost money in flipping, never, for me or my clients, because we always play it very safe. But knock on wood, but it can happen. You can lose money, so make sure that you're with people that understand that. Another con I want to talk to you about is very obvious. There's too many cooks in the kitchen. You got to establish that from the very, very beginning. That, listen, in our case, the expert is a real estate agent. In our case, it's me as a real estate agent looking at the trends in the neighborhood, looking at the trends in just overall housing market in that city, in this era, whatever the case may be. There is when there's too many cooks in the kitchen, it's just fights bound to break out. Okay, so be careful. Set the boundaries from the very get-go. Hey, listen, we have one person that we're asking how to maximize and the aesthetic of the place, the resale, what makes sense, what doesn't. Should we change the garage door or paint it? Some people say, oh no, this garbage changes. Some people, no, let's save the money and paint it. It's not that bad. So you should designate a professional or someone that knows a lot about staging or just renovation and trends, so they can guide the group to the right direction. And people need to trust that person. It could be from somebody from the outside. It could be someone from the outside, but it's gotta be someone that the team trusts. And they say, okay, you know what? If we change the garage door, if we remove this wall, if we make this extra bathroom, this is how much money you get back. And you need someone to trust. Also, another really obvious one, you don't want toxic people. You really don't. You don't want negative people. Everybody should be in the same mindset. You always have people around you as the same mindset. Make sure they're the same mindset as you, okay? Because if somebody's, easygoing, they say, okay, we have a budget, and they say, okay, let's maybe go over the budget a little bit, if it makes sense. Let's change things up if it makes sense. A negative person will always have something to say about that. Opposite of that, actually, I should say. So you want somebody to, if you're going to be a team of 4, you need people to be easygoing and open-minded. And like I said, trust somebody else's word, either from the team or outside the team. If they know what they're doing and they have good feedback, trust that person. All right, so that does it for today. I just want to kind of go through the dynamic for my my experience I had a pleasant experience. I didn't have too many problems because the people that were in the first flip I was with, they all had their 9 to 5, and they kind of left it up to up to us to sort of do everything for them, and they were happy at the end. So there was some delays, and but another thing about delays, the market in the GTA where I'm from, the market keeps on going up. So as long as the market doesn't crash, the delays are no problem. Sometimes delays are even better. When it comes to our first flip, the one that I did with 3 other people, the delay actually was good. It yielded us more money. Okay, so that does it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I will keep you updated with the property we're flipping in Burlington. please stay tuned and please like and subscribe. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Peace and love.